Chelsea have agreed to a deal to bring in Rennes goalkeeper Edouard Mendy. This is an interesting situation given that Kepa had that costly error last week against Liverpool. We've also seen Mason Mount and a few other Chelsea players come out and publicly back Kepa. But what's Frank Lampard going to do, Mark, going forward when Mendy does come in?
Well, Frank Lampard was asked about Kepa after the Liverpool game when he made that mistake which led to Sadio Mane's second goal. And Frank Lampard didn't defend him. He said it was a big mistake. It was a costly mistake, which basically led to a defeat. So I think Frank Lampard has now stopped trying to defend Kepa in public. He lost patience with him quite a long time ago, lost patience at the end of last season when he dropped him for the last game of the season. So I think Lampard is desperate to bring somebody in now. And if Mendy, can play as soon as possible, that'll help everybody because Kepa needs a break. His confidence is shot to pieces. He's making mistakes every week. So Chelsea need to take him out of the firing line. I think as soon as Mendy is available, he'll play. Is
it just a break or would it be the end for Kepa?
I think it's difficult for him to come back at Chelsea, but there are some advantages in the sense that with no fans in the stadium right now, at least he can play again, I guess, without that pressure of fans, turning on him, not booing him so much, but just that sense of doubt and uncertainty which creeps in from fans and that apprehension that they can breed into a player. So I think that the empty stadiums will help him, even though he's been making mistakes in empty stadiums, but it'll keep the pressure off. And I think what also helps him stay is the fact that nobody can afford to sign him. So if he wants to stay, that'll keep him there. If he wants to leave, he's got a problem because I don't see how anybody can fund a move for him right now because, first of all, he's expensive, but secondly, he makes a lot of mistakes. So why sign a goalkeeper that's going to not throw one into the net, but, fumble one into the net as soon as he gets there?
It's £71.5 million. How much could they realistically recoup of that, do you think, if they were to sell him?
I don't think they can get even half the money back. I think, £71 million is just, it looks the biggest disaster of a signing for a long time. So I think if somebody for Chelsea 20 million for him, they might have to take it, but I don't think that they'd be taking that sort of offer anytime soon. But the market isn't helped by the coronavirus pandemic. But I just think the situation right now, the fee that he costs, it's going to mean that Kepa's going to be impossible to move on.
Yeah, so you wonder now if he should stay and fight for his place or if a loan deal would actually be best for every party, for Chelsea, for Kepa himself, and maybe for a club where he would feel more confident. And we could see the goalkeeper that we were seeing back in La Liga.
Yeah, and I think going back to La Liga would be the best thing for him. But again, it's difficult because the only clubs that could probably afford his wages and his fee would be, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Atletico. And I don't think any of those need a keeper right now. Certainly not one of Kepa's unreliability. So for Kepa, it's difficult. There's a Euros at the end of the season. David De Gea, Spain's number one right now, and he's not very convincing either. So he probably thinks that if he can get his form back, he might be able to get the Spain jersey. But I suppose right now his priority is to sort his club form out. But I just don't see how he can find a club that will, first of all, pay his wages and back him to regain his confidence.
Just to end, how do you think Frank Lampard's actually dealt with this whole Kepa saga?
I think he's been pretty fair. I think he's played him. He's given the chance to redeem his mistakes, but he's criticised when he's had to. He brought in Caballero last season when he had to. He's bringing in Mendy now. There's not much else he can do. You have to remember that Petr Cech, the former Chelsea keeper, is quite an influential figure behind the scenes at Chelsea, and there are suggestions that Cech is a supporter of Kepa. So there may be some sort of internal battle with Cech to show that Kepa isn't the man. But I think Lampard's done as well as he can. He didn't really have many reliable options beyond Kepa last season. Caballero has been proven in the past that he's a decent shot stopper, but he's not a Premier League number one, really, Caballero. So he didn't really have a reliable option to replace him. So he just needs a reliable goalkeeper, and hopefully for Chelsea, that's Edouard Mendy.
Yeah, it wasn't the start to the season that Kepa would have hoped for, and you wonder just how many more games he will get during this campaign with Mendy coming in.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.